Hey guys, how you doing? Hank Hayes here, Intuitive Self-Protection. So this is your first video in a series of a few, and this is your first training with us. So we'd like to welcome you to our virtual training set, and we're just going to get started here. So after 23 years of doing this professionally with the first company, NLB Tactical, and now here, when it comes to shooting, the thing we hear most often is, I'm not hitting my intended target. I'm not hitting my intended target. Well, out in the world, that spells huge disaster, because if you miss your intended target, a 9mm bullet that is not a hollow point or a frangible is going to go through your house. It's going to go through and into your neighbor's house, and that's a problem. So you don't want to hit Johnny, your little neighbor, or Sue, the wife, now, or sue the wife, because Sue is going to sue you, right? And you don't want to kill your wife. So you got a big problem here. Okay, so there are a number of reasons that people miss their targets, and there are two key ones that are going to really throw your shot. And the first is sight alignment, and those are what you're going to line up with a gun that has what's called iron sights. And the second is grip. So a lot of people, they have either an old school grip or non-grip at all. And while you might make the first shot if you're stationary, a follow-up shot is just almost impossible to happen in the right amount of speed to affect the impact on threat. So let's walk through what we call your master grip. So I got my weapon system. This is safe here, and this is a safe weapon here. So we have a safe and clear weapon, and we have no ammo on site at all, okay? The ammo is in the other room, and these are things where we're going to want to talk about, especially when you get to training with us, about how you want to do your dry fire training. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to move up here. So I want you to have a good sight picture of this weapon system. And so now we're going to go through what you want this to look like. And just so you know, even though we know this is a safe gun, the cameraman is off in a direction where I am not pointing this gun at him. Never, ever, ever point your weapon at anything you don't plan to kill or destroy. So now, hopefully you guys have a great picture of this gun. And so we're going to just talk through this. You want to be as high up on the gun, as high up on this gun, but you don't want to interfere with the moving parts of this gun, because every time the firing pin hits the primer pin, you got this little explosion, and this goes back. If you could be as high up on the gun or higher up to manage the recoil, you would want to be here. So let's look at this from this side here. And so this is what I mean by high up on the gun. This is called either the back strap or the beaver tail, right? So you want to be as high up on that as possible. And you want to also be underneath the trigger guard here. So that middle finger goes up under that trigger guard. And then, if you look at it this way, you want to wrap these fingers around here nice and tight. You want to get a 3-finger grip on that if your weapon allows you to get that 3-finger grip. Some pocket pistols, you're going to have your pinky hanging off of there, and that would be because of the size of the gun. But you want to have as much hand on as much real estate as possible. This other hand is going to be like in a handshake position, and you're going to have this base of your hand and your thumb capture and make contact with this piece of real estate of the gun here, and you want as well to be as high up as possible on that gun. So this hand, looking like this, is going to go right in there, right? And it's going to be a great, nice fit right here between these two, creating what's called a thumb over thumb rigid grip. And then you want to squeeze this, make contact here. So contact here, and your hands are gonna, your fingers are going to look like this on and we don't want to say, let's call it your primary hand, and this is going to be your alternate hand. We're not going to say strong hand or weak hand, because that verbiage talks to mindset. Both hands are strong. You're just using either a primary or alternate hand. Okay, so we have, here's your weapon system. You're going to be as high up on the gun as possible, not to interfere with the moving parts of the gun. You're going to get a strong grip. This middle finger comes up underneath the trigger guard, and you're going to make contact. So this isn't Hollywood. You don't want to be shooting like this, walking around like this. This is a teacup deal. That's a big problem. You can get the first shot off, but then when you go to get a secondary shot, the gun's going to be all over the place. And that bullet is going to go where it is pointed at the point of trig pull, firing pin, hitting the primer, and the bullet's going to go where it's going to go. So here is also a fun fact for you. With a full frame weapon system at 21 feet away, if this is off by, yes, a 32nd of an inch, a 32nd of an inch here, either this way or this way, your bullet is going to be off by about 8 inches, right? 8 to 10 inches from a 32nd of an inch deviation at 21 feet distance. So yeah, you need to, it's not like it is on television, right? So let's go over that again. High up on the back strap of the gun, not to interfere with the moving parts of the weapon system, right? And this hand, so we would also, to add more, you have a touch point and touch point, index finger and thumb. Here, thumb over thumb, rigid grip. And you want to have a tight grip on the gun, so tight, but not so the gun is shaking like that. So let's look at it this way, here, and there's your grip, right? And we will continue more as you build your skill and process. And of course, you want to have those sights lined up, or in this case, you want to have your red dot on point, so your point of aim and your point of impact all match up, and that's more on how your weapon system is zeroed. So, very important that you have that right grip, because that is going to dictate where your bullet goes and the follow-up shots. And you are responsible for every single round. You're responsible for the rounds that you fire. Okay, so there you have it. Master grip on your weapon system. You're going to get the follow-up video here, however you've linked up with us, and we look forward to training with you. And there are all kinds of different free education videos and PDFs that we have, and there's the first in the series. We'll talk to you soon.